All right, 3 down, 5 more to go. Okay, if you have been keeping up, we did the AFC predictions. We have done the AFC North. We have done the NFC West, the NFC East. I forgot about the NFC East. Now we're doing the AFC West. Did I say that right? I think I did. Anyway, we're doing all 4 of those. Garrett's here to keep me in check, I guess. I don't know. He's just here.
But maybe we'll see.
And
We'll
if
see.
you,
I got a spoiler warning at the beginning of this, so we'll see how this goes.
if you don't know, me and him got into it in the NFC West video. Go check that out. And that was actually a little bit faster than our other videos, but half of the schedule was already picked out. But as you can see right here, you can see some of them, or you can see all of them. We already have the AFC North predictions, the NFC East predictions, NFC West predictions. We will do the AFC West now. And as we have said in the other videos, we have not changed any of the games. These are the same predictions from all of them. So, and we're just going in. So that's why you'll see a couple games picked already. So if you're like, well, what about the rest of the for here? We picked the Washington Commanders. If you're wondering how we got that, then go watch the NFC East one. You know what I'm saying? But here we go. Let's go AFC West. As y'all know, or you should know if you've been keeping up with the site, the AFC West has my beloved Raiders in it. So away we go with the Denver Broncos. We're starting with the Denver Broncos because it's in alphabetical order. First game, week 1. I gotta give it to the Raiders because the last 5 seasons, we've won week 1. So obviously we can beat them in week 1. It wasn't that the logic you gave me for?
And then you didn't let me choose the Steelers, so we're definitely not choosing the Raiders here.
Oh, over who though? We didn't choose the Steelers over who?
Okay. Here's the issue with this logic. The last 2 years, they've been more than a touchdown underdog on the road and won both games.
Okay.
We're choosing Denver here.
Well, can I? And this is no bullshit. If we're going off of trends, right there, the Broncos haven't beat the Raiders in 4 years.
That is also fair.
And I feel like I was just kind of trolling you with the week 1 thing.
I know you were. That was a troll. This is an actual thing we can go off of.
And so and to be fair, I think the Raiders at this moment in time, I know they went 6-11. I think with as bad a season as the Broncos had last year, Sean Payton trying to turn it around. Josh McDaniels has his guy, and Jimmy Garoppolo, if he's healthy, it looks like he's healthy. I think the Raiders have a better chance to win this game right now. If this game was at week 4, I'd probably give it to the Broncos. But I think the Raiders could beat the Broncos here.
My only concern is, and obviously we don't know what this Sean Payton-led offense is going to look like if he can fix Russ. That's my biggest concern with this, because let's say they hit the ground running in week 1, the offense looks. It's not going to be a complete 180 week 1, obviously, but if it looks significantly better, the Raiders' defense is not very good. And I don't think that is a point that can necessarily be argued.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be an issue of Vegas has to outscore Denver.
I think
Denver has a pretty decent defense. Now, obviously, to counter that point, defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero left this offseason for another defensive coordinator job. So who's going to step in that role? Things like that.
With the Broncos, and spoiler alert, like I said, I'm a Raiders fan, but I think the Raiders finished last in the division, and we'll go through that, obviously. We'll let the schedule play out. But that's an NFC West thing. That's an NFC West. Go watch it, please. But I think with the Broncos, they get better as the year goes on. I think, and you kind of alluded to it. Without the defensive coordinator, there every time you change coordinators, change coaches, there's that time that you need to gel. And I think that's what's going to be the gel. I am perfectly okay with giving the Broncos a win later on the season over the Raiders because at that time, I think they'll be playing better. I'm gonna go Raiders week 1. I have to. I gave you the split. I'm giving you the split, but I gotta go Raiders week 1. I know. And we're gonna get to the Raiders one. I'm gonna be fair about this. I'm gonna be fair when it comes to the Raiders. I am. This is probably one of the. Well, I can't say the least excited because the Raiders are never good apparently. But I'm gonna be fair. Okay, let's keep going. Week 2, we picked the Commanders. Week 3, I mean, do the Broncos start 0-3? That's the question, right? You think so? Because the Dolphins are good. They're going to be healthy. Jalen Ramsey might be back by then. I think this is an 0-3 start, but I think they're going to have a little bit better time here. I think they beat the Bears.
I would agree.
This is a good game. This is a really good game for the Broncos.
This is the game that Denver has circled on the calendar this year.
This is a Russell Wilson. I don't want to say legacy game, but I want to say it's a statement game from him.
It's a revenge game of sorts, which is crazy to think because he hasn't changed teams, but this has to be viewed as a revenge game for him.
Yeah, I think this is a very good game. I think building confidence off this Bears win. I think they take this one. I think they take it.
I think this team's going to come out and play harder than normal just because of how everything happened last season. Mm-hmm. I think this is a game that they are going to be a home dog in, but they are probably going to somehow manage to squeak it out. I would agree. But this is a game, regardless, that I would probably take Denver on spread because I think they will cover. Yeah. The money line might be a pretty decent option as well, but at minimum, if you're looking to build like a parlay or something like that, you want to pick a couple of spreads. This would be a good game to bet week 5 on spread.
Yeah, I'm with that. Broncos Chiefs, gotta give it the Chiefs. This is a good game. Broncos and Packers. I'm leaning more Packers here. Or not Packers. I'm sorry. I'm leaning more the Broncos.
I was gonna say I'm leaning. I'm definitely. I mean, even with Green Bay coming off of a bye, Denver has an extended break with playing with Thursday the week before. I would take Denver here.
Yeah, and they're a better team. I think they're a better team than the Packers right now.
Yes.
Chiefs and Broncos. I don't think there's a chance they split. I'm gonna give.
No, this is not. This is and with me living in Colorado, I listen to sports. I listen to the sports radio pretty often, only because my commute to work is nowhere than 10 minutes, so I don't feel like plugging in my phone, going to Spotify. I'll just throw on local radio. They always talk about how long it's been since Denver has beaten Kansas City, and it's been like multiple years since they've beaten Kansas City. Like they are
and
like
the
over the correct.
I had to throw that in.
You had to. And I don't see it splitting here. I just don't see a way. Like the streak continues. It is the only saving grace that Denver can take into this game is that they're playing Kansas City twice in 3 weeks. So all the memory of the game from 2 weeks ago is going to be really, really fresh, and they're playing at altitude, which in football probably doesn't make a ton of difference because these are some of the most well-conditioned athletes on the planet. I mean, obviously you can say that about any athlete, but you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I think that they have the film and it's fresh. I just don't see a way that they can overcome a Patrick Mahomes-led offense.
Let me put it this way. If things go good with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, regardless of their win-loss record, if things look like they're clicking right here, I like this game a lot more next year. I could see.
Yes.
I think they need that time to gel, and I think Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, if everything works out good this year, Russell Wilson next year, if he's still with the team, I feel like that would be a good time to maybe pick that game, but not right now, not in this point in time. So I'm going to go Chiefs here. Coming off the bye
on Monday night.
That's a tough game to come off the bye, though. I mean,
the schedule does get easier for Denver after the bye, though. After Week 10, obviously, because I think while they drop Week 10, I think they can steal Week 11 and should potentially steal 13 as well.
I'm fair with that. I think they lose this game. I think
Yes,
they
and
beat them.
they rattle off 3 in a row.
Yep.
And honestly, they play the Chargers very well, and who knows with this Chargers team. They could start hot, but this is the Chargers we're talking about. I'd be interested to almost even hold off on doing the Chargers picks for the Broncos until we do the Chargers schedule, because as we know, the Chargers are notorious for starting hot and falling at the end stretch of the year. So this could be a game. I mean, they're playing the Chargers twice in the last 5 weeks of the year, 4 weeks of the year almost. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 weeks of the year. This could be the start of the decline for the Chargers. So I would almost be tempted to give Denver both games against the Chargers. Not saying that Denver's the better team, because right now I don't think that they are. But based on how we know the Chargers play late in the season, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I almost feel like that has to be taken into consideration because they are always terrible in the last one of the year.
I like giving the Chargers this game because I don't think the Chargers go into very cold as Denver Week 17 and win that game for sure. I have the Broncos. However, I think it's fair to give that one to the Chargers. I think it's fair. I mean, the Chargers are still a good team. And yes, they're notorious for starting hot, falling off. I'm not hoping. Why would the fuck would I say that? I'm expecting that Kellen Moore will try to have fresh play calling, and I think this Chargers team might be a little bit better. They should be better. So I'm not hoping for anything for these AFC West rivals, but 15's a good game.
This is a loss for Denver, I think. Just because I think by the end of the year, when we alluded to it when we did a previous video, I don't remember which one, we were talking about someone was playing Detroit Week 6, and that's the week that Jameson Williams comes back. I think this offense, once JMO gets built, really, really synced in the offense, this could be a top 5 offense in the league next year, playing at home against a good defense. But do they have the secondary help to stop all of these weapons? And especially if a guy like Sam Laporta really develops and turns into a vertical threat in this offense, I just think that Detroit will be able to put up enough points to win, based on the fact that I don't entirely trust the Detroit defense. They did make some improvements this year. They did, especially in the secondary, adding Brian Branch in the draft. They picked up CJ Gardner-Johnson and Levi Wallace, who should both come in and potentially be the CB1 and CB2 there in Detroit. I think this is going to be a game where Detroit has to score points. Enough points, obviously, to outscore Denver's ability to put up points as well. I feel like I just regurgitated a lot of information. I would lean Detroit here just because I have confidence that they can outscore.
I hear what you're saying. The only thing I have a problem with is, do you really think Detroit's going to be a top 5 offense with Jared Goff there?
Yes.
All right.
I do. I think that it's more the fact that the offense is too talented to fail.
Okay.
They've got Amon-Ra. If Jameson Williams develops, they have a very solid offensive line. They have high hopes for Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jared Goff, say what you will about Goff. I feel the same way. I don't think he's a great quarterback in terms of being an NFL leader, but he proved last year he can lead an offense because he was a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
Okay.
And I understand. I understand the fantasy aspect is different from an NFL quarterback because obviously Daniel Jones is trash, but he was a top 10 quarterback too. But I think this situation is a little different than the Daniel Jones situation, only because the Detroit offense is it's significantly better, and Detroit has added nice pieces on the defensive side of the ball this offseason. The defense should be better.
So you're saying that Jared Goff and Daniel Jones could be in the same tier, but the difference between the two is that Detroit has a better offense.
Detroit is a better surrounding cast on the offense, yes.
Okay. I'm okay with picking the Lions here. I am. I think this is a good game for them. Sean Payton versus Bill Belichick. Ooh.
Is this a night game too? Let's see.
6:15.
GMT. What the hell is GMT?
Yep.
What the hell is GMT?
GMT is like it's not Eastern time. It's like the normal. It's
GMT.
Fuck. What is it?
Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah, that's like the normal time, isn't it?
No, because the time where I'm at in Eastern time zone right now, it's 4 hours ahead of me. So this is a 2:15 kickoff time. It is your mid-afternoon game.
Oh, it's because it's December. It's Christmas Eve. Of course, it's December. It's Christmas Eve.
Oh, duh. That makes sense.
Yeah.
The big story here is going to be, can Denver bounce back from their Christmas Eve debacle from last year? If you recall,
I don't.
I believe the Rams hung up almost 50 on Denver on Christmas Eve last year, and it was terrible. I think they lost. If I remember correctly, I want to say they lost 51-14.
Merry Christmas.
If someone in the comments can let me know if I'm wrong, but I believe Los Angeles hung 50 on Christmas Eve, so they're gonna want to bounce back and give the Broncos fans a nice Christmas.
I'm gonna go. I think the Broncos go on a mini run here to end out the season. I think they win the last 3.
I agree with that
because the Raiders always disappoint me at the end of the year.
There we go. Which puts Denver finishing the year at 9-8.
That's fair.
Originally, when I genuinely think that's their ceiling this year. Only because I live in Denver, I listened to them all the time. Their expectation going into the year is they would view a 7-10 season as a success. 7-10, 8-9 season under Sean Payton's first year, they would view that as a success. So I'm actually kind of surprised to see their schedule and end up them at 9-8. That's actually kind of surprising, but we went through it and I don't hate it.
I think there's a couple factors why this is it could be a decent prediction. One, they play the NFC North, which we know is not very good. 2, they're playing AFC, or not the AFC, but I mean they're playing all the 4th place AFC teams, and I think that helps out too. I think, correct? Because they got last in the division, so they're playing all the 4th place teams. So I think those 2 factors actually help them out on that. So I think 9-8 is completely fair. Like we said, we think that not the Chargers, but the Broncos start out a little slow, and then they pick up at the end of the year as soon as Sean Payton and Russell. Because Russell Wilson, I know he gets a bad rap for last year. He did not play great. I had no faith in Nathaniel Hackett, and I think Russell Wilson, even though he's aging, he could still play. I think Sean Payton can put him in the right spots too. I think as the year goes on, they make that little mini run. I think 9-8 is completely fair for them.
I mentioned it so I did the Denver Broncos training camp preview. Check it out at vendettasportsmedia.com. I put the fantasy sleeper for the Broncos this year, I believe, as Russell Wilson, because like you said it, like on paper, Russ did not play well last year. His best attribute last year was the deep ball, which has kind of always been his greatest strength, his ability to throw the deep pass. He quietly finished as a top 20 fantasy quarterback last year.
Yeah, I mean, the rap that Russell Wilson's getting is he did not play like Russ, but he didn't play bad if you're looking at NFL quarterbacks. That's the thing. Like Russell Wilson can still play. I would take him over a lot of NFL quarterbacks in the league right now. It's just that, Russell Wilson was on such a high pedestal when, he played mediocre that everyone was like, well, this guy fucking sucks. And it's just like, it's
Right.
not quite the case. It's just that, he didn't play as we're used to. But, and in a really bad situation, I feel like with Nathaniel Hackett, I had no faith in the guy. And that guy proved that he had no one should have faith in him as well. So, I think 9-8 is completely fair. I think the defense is talented. I think they do have some offensive weapons. Sean Payton will get them in the right spot. I think 9-8 is completely fair for the Broncos, and I think that's reasonable. Chiefs. All right, week 1. Let's give them a win.
I want to pull up a stat really quick.
Okay.
Only because it applies to this game. And I don't know where it is, which is really annoying. Oh, this is so annoying. Okay, never mind.
Okay, my bad.
The stat was something to the effect of, from a betting perspective, I think it was the last 20 Super Bowl winners are 13-6-1 against the spread week 1. And I think Kansas City opens up as a decent favorite against Detroit. My only concern is there might be some bit of Super Bowl hangover going against a really good Detroit team. I think Kansas City wins this game. But
what do you mean by really good?
They're gonna win the division.
I'm okay with that, yes. But other than that, because while we're talking about division winners, we haven't talked about the mess that's the NFC South. Someone has to win out of that division.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really.
That doesn't mean they're a good team, or a very good team, as you put it.
Yeah, division winners don't necessarily have to be really good, but I think if I had to guess right now, I'm not looking at their schedule and I don't know what it looks like offhand. There's Detroit's ceiling this year could be 11-6. Their ceiling, but they have a really high floor. They have a really high floor. I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit finishes 11-6.
What's the floor?
The floor should be 9-8.
I have 8-9. That's my range. 8-9 is that.
They weren't they 8-9 last year?
They could be. I don't know.
They got, believe it or not, they did not have a very good draft. They got better this offseason on the defense.
I know we're talking about the NFC North when it's an AFC West video. My thing with Lions, and it's just you have to put your faith in Jared Goff, and I know you alluded to their offense earlier, but that's the thing.
It's entirely valid. It is an entirely valid point. I just think that, and I'm going to say this and we'll get back on track, I promise. I'd be interested to see this year if Jared Goff can lead Detroit to double-digit wins. Does he shake the narrative of his Super Bowl appearance was only by a Sean McVay-led offense? That he only thrived in McVay's offense only because he would have then won double-digit games again in a different city in a different offense. That's my only curiosity. That I'd be interested to see if there is. I'm not saying there would be, and I'm not saying that I believe there will be. But I'd be interested to see if there is a narrative shift if Detroit somehow finishes 10-7, 11-6. I'd be interested to see what the narrative is.
I think putting 3 points up in the Super Bowl is just awful. That's my whole thing on that. Bill Belichick, defense or not, Rams defense only putting up 3 points is despicable.
There have been all-time Super Bowl blunders by teams. There have, and he fell victim to one. But I think there might be a slight change to the tune if Goff goes out and leads a top 5 offense. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there will be. I'm not saying maybe he deserves it. I think that it'd be interesting to see like mainstream media if they change their tune if he goes out and falls out this year.
I don't like saying that he leads the top 5 offense because you've already alluded to that the Lions have great offensive weapons. Like I wouldn't say that, Jimmy G led the 49ers to NFC Championship. I would say their defense. Does that make sense? Like,
Sort of. I think, though, that
I wouldn't say Brock Purdy led the 49ers to an NFC Championship.
You never hear mainstream media go, the defense led or
Correct.
the running back led. That's why I'm saying, because you and I agree in this. Quarterback, when should not be a quarterback stat? Agree or disagree?
No, I agree. They should not.
So and that kind of plays into what you were saying. We're spending way too much time on this. This is crazy. I think we just spent almost 10 minutes on this, and we're already 30 minutes into this video. We've only done one team.
Well, that's what happens. That's why the cookie crumbles.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Let's try to get back on track here.
Game 1, but I do think the Lions cover the spread.
I think this is a sneaky game to bet money line, but they definitely should cover.
I think these first 2 games are actually good sneaky bets.
Because I would be tempted to bet Jacksonville here.
I would be too. I'm gonna give the game to the Chiefs, though. I think the mini rest helps. I think the Lions give them a scare, and
they come back sharpened. That I can see that.
Off of
this is another game where I wouldn't be shocked if Kansas City drops it.
It would be crazy to say the Chiefs start 0-2. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
I was just thinking the same thing. If the Chiefs start the year 0-2, I don't know how they would. You'd think that they would respond well, but the media would respond crazy.
Oh, Garrett, after the first 2 weeks, if any team starts 0-2, they were like a playoff team or a Super Bowl team or whatever, they're like, well, what? I'm like, relax. The Raiders start 2-0, and I'm already scared because now we're gonna go 2-15 or something. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I'm gonna go.
They'll crush Chicago.
Yeah.
Whatever the spread is, still take Kansas City. I would pick the Jets here.
This is sneaky. I think
I would because they've had 3 sneaky games so far. They're bound to drop one of them. This is the game they drop.
I think it is. I think Aaron Rodgers always comes to play. Always rises to the occasion, I feel like. I think because every time we talk about, Aaron Rodgers not winning a playoff game, was it really his fault? Like, that's my thing. So I think they come to play. I think this is a big game for the Jets. I think they come to play, and I think they sneak one. I think they steal this game. They get back to work, beat Vikings. They put up 50 on the Vikings almost. I feel like
50 is crazy, but I think they handily beat the Vikings. I think 50
it's double digits. Crazy. It was a exaggeration.
Like, I think they hang 50 on Chicago.
Yeah, they could. Well, I think they could hang 50 on the Vikings because I know the Vikings will score, and the Chiefs will try to score more.
I mean, realistically, Kansas City could almost hang 50 on anybody, but if we're being serious.
Chargers, Chiefs, not today. Chargers, not at home, off the mini bye. I can't see it.
Did it update?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Good game here.
In Germany, too.
In Germany. Doesn't Miami play very well?
Overseas?
Overseas. That's a very particular stat that I do not know of.
This could be another sneaky game that they could drop. It could be, because by this point in the year, this is November. if Jalen Ramsey's back, whoever is the wide receiver one in Kansas City, he's locking them up.
I
And then
think
they double team Kelsey. Then who does Mahomes throw the ball to?
I think that even though it says home game, they're playing in Germany, and anything can happen. I'm gonna go with Miami here.
I think I would also take Miami.
I think this is a good game for the Chiefs to lose if I had to pick one. Bye week. We already talked about them coming off the bye, coming back from Germany, Monday night. The Raiders are beating the Chiefs. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
couldn't even say it with a straight face.
Yeah, I was gonna say
couldn't even say it with a straight face. I couldn't. Chiefs and Packers, not even a contest. Go Chiefs. I'm looking at this Bills off the bye though.
This is your. How is this an 11 o'clock start?
I feel like this is gonna get flexed.
This has to get flexed to Sunday Night Football. This is going to get flexed to Sunday night.
It's got to.
It
Especially
has
to. 13 games in. We're about, these are two playoff guys,
Like we already have Kansas City at 11-2, so they're already a double-digit win team. Buffalo's probably at 9 wins at lowest at this point. This has to get flexed.
And I think it gets flexed. I think the Bills absolutely cannot stand the Chiefs because they can't. Every time they get to the playoffs. And I think what's funny is about this is I think if we give this to the Bills, the Chiefs get them back in the playoffs if they play in the playoffs again, which is
correct.
Which is what usually happens.
The crazy thing is, though, that if we give them the win, they would be going into Arrowhead and winning, which is not an easy task.
It's not. I think coming off the bye is a good game, though. I think if you're going to beat Kansas City off the bye or at home, you better be a damn good team coming off the bye.
And you do it off the bye. Yeah, I don't hate it.
It's a damn good team coming off the bye. I don't think it's crazy. I think Chiefs beat the Patriots here.
Yep.
The Raiders off the mini bye beat the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least give the Raiders the tie. Give them a tie. No way. I don't even feel good about that. Is it crazy to say the Chargers could win the last game of the year?
They could be in a scenario where they need to win an in, and Kansas City's already they would already have 13 wins, which would be currently. I mean, obviously, we're not done with the rest of the other two AFC divisions, but they're probably looking at a number 1 seed in that first round bye, so they could rest.
Yes.
But it's the Chargers, though. That's my only concern. You alluded to it earlier. If Kellen Moore can fix the offense, maybe they can shake those woes.
I think people should be a little bit more confident in the Chargers now. I did not trust and I'm still kind of a Justin Herbert hater too as well. But I think Kellen Moore will help out with that. I think they have a competent play caller to where he won't fuck up that many times. So I think.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Did you see
We're here. I don't know. I feel more confident about giving the Chargers this game. I think Chargers are desperate. They pull out all the stops without looking at their schedule to see if they get into the playoffs. I think they're winning. They're trying to either get a better playoff position, trying to get in, whatever. Because the AFC is just brutal. Yeah, we're gonna go out of alphabetical order so we can save the Raiders for last.
That's it.
I love my Raiders. Okay. Week 1. Fuck, that's a tough game.
I think the only reason I would lean towards Chargers here is because they're gonna have all offseason to come up with the perfect playbook for week 1 under Kellen Moore. And if everything,
And Jalen Ramsey's not playing probably.
That is true. And I mean, I'm super out on Quentin Johnston. I have been since before the draft cycle even really began this offseason. But if they can find a way to get him incorporated, that's 3 different options on the outside.
He's wide receiver 3 though. You don't have to like or love Quentin Johnson. But as a wide receiver 3, he can do that. I think if teams are worried about Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler out of the backfield, and then you have Quentin Johnson just picking up the slack, I think that's perfect. I think that's good for them. So I think you're right that they're going to have the perfect game plan coming out, looking really, solid. And then I think with Jalen Ramsey being out, I think that helps or that hurts the Dolphins secondary. Second week, we're going to go Chargers. Third week,
I'm probably leaning Minnesota here, only because Minnesota's a really tough place to play. They're coming off of the mini bye, and I think they probably struggle to start the year based on all of the players that they've gotten rid of, and they're going to want to bounce back at home.
All right. Hear me out. Before we pick this game, the Chargers against the Raiders, okay? That is a home game for the Raiders. That is a home game for the Raiders.
Okay.
The Raiders fan base always shows out in Los Angeles because, the Chargers don't have that many fans. To me, I think they win the Vikings game, but they lose to the Raiders. That is my thought process.
I mean, I could see a scenario where they lose both.
I'm cool with that. I don't like the Chargers anyway. I can't stand those fools.
I think this game is close. I think
the Chargers win at Las Vegas.
Oh, so they split, but it's away team wins it.
And this is a problem with the Las Vegas home team, and I'll get more into it later. But making Las Vegas your home as a travel city is just it's hard. It's hard to have your home. Like, it's not an Arrowhead. It'll never be an Arrowhead. You know what I'm saying? Chargers and Bears. They go. Chargers win.
They should drop the Monday Nighter to the Jets.
In November,
it's gonna be colder.
I think they beat either the Jets or the Lions, and I think Lions coming off the bye is a better game for them than the Jets. What I mean is, I think Lions coming off the bye has a better chance of beating the Chargers than the Jets do.
I mean, this is another scenario where I can see them dropping both games only because Rodgers on primetime tends to play decently okay.
And they're in New York in
November. Like, I see a scenario where they drop both games here.
Have we been giving the Jets too much love?
Because they get their get back with Green Bay, and they also pick up a road win against the Patriots. So they're getting wins back. And to answer your question about the Jets, I love their defense.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very solid defense. Breece Hall should be back. They've got Garrett Wilson in that offense. The O-line is finally starting to get better. I think the Jets should be around 10-ish wins this year, and we already have them at 5-2, and they would be 6-2 here. And they still have to go up against the rest of the division as well.
Okay, we'll do it. All right.
They pick up the
Chargers
win. They pick up the win against Green Bay. I think
and the
they also
Patriots.
pick up another road win against the Patriots.
And we already said the Raiders. I feel like they get their get back.
Correct.
Other way.
Sorry. Yes.
And then I think they lose this game,
which puts them 9-8, which I don't think is terrible.
No, because the AFC is
the AFC's loaded, and they're Justin Herbert aside with a new offensive coordinator. This team isn't talented enough to make some impact this year.
And I know some Chargers fans are punching the screen because they're seeing the Broncos 9-8 and the Chargers are 9-8, but the Chargers finished second in the division, are playing harder opponents than the Broncos are playing. The Broncos are playing fourth place teams, and the Broncos do have talent. And I think having a better coach in general, it helps them out playing those fourth place teams. So if you're mad about that, have some logic, use some logic to that. No, is it kind of unfair? Yeah, but that's how the NFL sets it up. If you get first in the division, you're playing the first place teams. That's what it is.
I will say also, it doesn't help that they don't have a home field advantage.
No,
it doesn't. Nobody cares about the Chargers in Los Angeles, so they're always going to be like a genuine 50-50 split almost at home. Because we have them 4-4 at home this year because home field doesn't matter in Los Angeles.
No, it doesn't, especially with the Raiders there. I feel more confident about the Raiders beating the Chargers in Los Angeles than I do in Las Vegas. That's how I usually feel. Oh, great, the lovely Raiders.
They start the year 2-2 though. That's not bad.
That's not bad. I'm living. We're okay. Oh,
and you want to know something? I think Week 5 is winnable.
I think it is too.
I don't 100% know that they do, but I think they cover. I don't know how to bet this game because I don't know who would be the favorite. I would probably lean Green Bay as like a 1.5 point favorite, which means Vegas would be a 1.5 point dog at home, and I love betting home dogs.
This is a good game. The question is, can Jordan Love beat the Raiders defense? That's the question.
I think it's more that's a good point because it is Jordan Love. However, I think the game plan going into this week, and really to start the year in general, is probably super run heavy. It's going to be your traditional West Coast dink and dunk, run the ball kind of offense because they have A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones there. They're going to run the ball. I think the question is, can Las Vegas stop the run, which in years past, they've shown an ability that they cannot do that. I think that's the question.
Well,
if Vegas can stop the run, they should win this game.
They've had a better chance stopping the run than they have stopping the pass. Their run defense is actually better than their pass defense. But not by much. I mean, the defense has still been mediocre to just plain bad. You're asking me to pick against my team here, and because I think they can win.
I think they can win this game too, but I think Green Bay can sneak out this win. But I'm saying that I wouldn't be shocked if Vegas did win this game. I wouldn't be. So if you feel confident that Vegas can win, I'll take the Vegas. I'll put it on there, but I'm not 100% sold.
You shouldn't have said that.
Green Bay is also coming off of an extended break.
The Week 6 is actually very interesting. Raiders and Patriots last year, because I don't like picking. Really, Bill Belichick. I don't like him. I don't like picking against former coaches against him. Last game was a pretty good game. Then Jacoby Myers threw the pick, the lateral pick, very weird lateral pick to Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones reined it in.
That play, as a quick side note, that play, and when Vegas scored that touchdown, cashed the fourth leg of my parlay that won me $250.
Was it really?
I think I have the ticket in my app still. That play won me $250.
We'll see.
I'll see if I can find it and I'll show it to you after this.
And the thing is, I thought the Patriots were a better team last year than they are this year. But the Raiders they're not.
This is another scenario where I think that can they stop the run? Because Ramondre Stevenson is a dude. And I think
this is a very low scoring game.
The only reason I think this is a loss for Vegas is because they get beat up the week before, but still find a way to squeak out a win. I don't think they can do it back-to-back weeks against two good running teams. I don't think they have the interior defense to do it.
Okay.
I know that New England doesn't have any outside threats, and they have Mac Jones throwing the football, but it's Bill Belichick with the defense is always going to play well, and with the running game.
Could Stevenson be tired though?
No.
All right. I tried.
Again, this is another scenario. This is the third week in a row where they have to contend against the run.
Well, who though? Are you talking about Justin Fields?
I'm talking about Justin Fields, yes.
I'm not counting that. I think DJ Moore against Marcus Peters, and then they have to look to Chase Claypool to win.
You're forgetting about Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
Listen. Don't.
I would no.
A spoiler alert! Don't sleep on Darnell Mooney.
No. That motherfucker. I was high on his ass last year for fantasy, and this motherfucker was a dud. He was a dud.
Because he was no. Listen. I'm buying real low on his stock because Darnell Mooney was never meant to be a wide receiver one. He is your prototypical wide receiver two. No, he's your wide receiver two. And he was the wide receiver one, and he wasn't meant to be in that role. And now they have a wide receiver one.
Nope.
He's a 1,000-yard receiver. He has been before, and I think he could be this year.
I think the Raiders win this game.
I don't.
I feel more confident about this game than I do the Packers game.
We're in agreement that they dropped the game to Detroit, correct?
Yes. If it's any consolation, I do not like the next 3 games we have to pick for the Raiders.
I know Chicago's bad, but I just think they can run circles around this defense. I'll pick Vegas, but man, I don't know about that pick, but we're gonna keep moving.
Jets, Dolphins. Dolphins also bye. That might be a blowout.
That could be a blowout.
This is an interesting game.
Both teams off a bye.
Raiders coming off a bye. I think the Vikings win this game. How do they stop Justin Jefferson is the question. Can they? I don't.
And if they happen to start to slow down Justin Jefferson, you still have to contend with TJ Hawkinson. And if Jordan Addison is heavily involved in the offense by the end of the year. Even if it is Kirk Cousins throwing the ball, Minnesota has too many weapons for Vegas to slow down. Someone's going to get heavily involved in the offense, and they have 3 different options.
To me, this is a high-scoring affair. But I don't think Vegas can score as many points. That's where my logic is at. I think at the end of the day, Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to put up 30, 40 points to help you win a game. I think, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and it's Madison's not Dalvin Cook, but he'll get the job done. And so I think all of those factors put together, I think if the Vikings are going to do anything, they're going to put up points, and you have to stop them to win. That's my logic on that.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm not asking it to rub salt in a wound. I'm trying to gain some information. What do you remember? What week last year Vegas benched Carr for Stidham?
Week 16.
Okay. Is it crazy? Because
they benched him week 17 after the week 16 loss.
Is it because right now we have Vegas at 4-12? Sorry about it, by the way. Is it crazy to think that Vegas could bench Garoppolo and potentially start a guy like Aiden O'Connell to see what they have in O'Connell?
No.
Because I like Aiden O'Connell quite a bit. Do I think he could be a above average starter in the NFL? He's kind of got some tools to him. So I think coming off of the bye, they could make the switch to O'Connell, and O'Connell could play well because, like you're saying, this should be a high scoring affair where you want to take the over. This could be one where O'Connell pulls out something out of his ass and pulls off a win. I'm sticking with the Vegas pick, or not the Vegas pick. I'm sorry, the Minnesota pick as well. But I wouldn't be shocked if O'Connell starts the game and he shows something.
I think the Jimmy Garoppolo signing, and I think the Jimmy Garoppolo signing really alludes to this, that Josh McDaniels got his guy that he wants. And I don't think he's going to turn his back on him. I don't think he gets the Derek Carr treatment. That's my thing.
And that's fair. I would be curious to see if this is a higher than McDaniel move, and also one thing to consider too, what if Josh McDaniel isn't even there? What if he's already gone?
I think he's going to be there. Mark Davis, for better or for worse, has shown patience with head coaches and GMs than he has done in the past. He gives them at least a 3 or 4 year window. Did that with Gruden and Mayock. Before it was, I don't even want to think about shit like that. But he gives them a 3 or 4 year window. I think Jack Del Rio was kind of the exception to that because Mark Davis loved John Gruden. And so he went and got John Gruden. I think that's the exception to that. But I think they're going to give him time to do. I don't think it's any Raiders fans, as delusional as we are. Some think that this is a playoff team. This is not at all. So I don't know where they're getting that. I think they know that this is not a year that if anything, they fired Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator, before they fired Josh McDaniels. That's my logic on that. I think they're going to try to. The problem with the Raiders these last few years, I'm going to try to speed this up so we can get this under an hour, is that the Raiders have been so unstable for the last 20 years. Yeah, ever since their Super Bowl appearance. They've been so unstable that Mark Davis is trying to find that stability. And so I think he's going to try to do that with Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, for better or for worse. I think the only good thing about this is the Raiders will probably be picking top 10. And I think they could get a quarterback that's worth something here.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if depending on how we choose the last game of the year, Vegas at Indianapolis, they could finish the year 4-13, and they're in the running for the number 1 pick.
I would give this game to the Colts.
I would also probably give this game to the Colts. So then, yeah, you're looking at 4-13 for the Raiders this year. That, I mean, it would depend on the tiebreaker or how the points shake out against the Rams. But Arizona has a worse schedule as well. Depending on how we finish the rest of the divisions, this is a top 5 picking team. This isn't even, forget about top 10. They're guaranteed to pick top 10 if this goes according to plan. This is a top 5 picking team.
Right. So, that's, and I think this is completely fair. I think there's a lot of hard games on their schedule. Just look at what we have pulled up right here, 1 through 11. That's not an easy schedule for them. It's not.
Two things that are interesting to note for me here is that we have them 1-8 at home, which is brutal, but they are playing 10 teams who had a winning record last year, which is crazy.
It's a tough schedule, and this really shows you how tough the AFC is because they're playing the third place teams right here, and the third place teams had winning records. That's what it is. So I think 4-13, and I mean this is Raiders approved. This is me approving this. I think their ceiling is the same schedule, that the same record they got is like 6-11. Like the only things I would change is probably that Patriots pick, and that's if. I feel like there's another one. Maybe the Vikings one, maybe the Colts one. Those are like the only three. I'm like, yeah, the Raiders could win that game, but 4-13 is more than fair for them, honestly. And what's crazy is the Raiders win their only 4 games by week 7. Like that's it. And after that, I mean, it's brutal. It's a brutal schedule. So if you're expecting any Raiders delusionality it's a tough schedule. If you're expecting, and I consider myself the number 1 Raiders fan, of course, because why would I think anything else? But even I'm saying this is hard as fuck. This is not a good team, at least not. I think this is a better than what you think team, but I think with the schedule that it's at, it's 4-13. I think that's fair. It seems harsh, but looking at their opponents, I'm looking at where they're playing. I don't see anyone. Oh wow, like I said, oh my god, I almost died. I might be choked up. Because I picked 4-13, but I think the ceiling for them is 6-11. That's it. That's pretty much the best you're gonna get. And if they get 6-11, it's like okay. I think the Raiders should not be rooting for them to lose, but being okay with losses because that increases your draft pick to maybe get a generational quarterback. Hopefully, that's the prayer. Not sure it's gonna happen, but I don't think the Raiders are the worst team in the league to get Caleb Williams. They might be the second worst to get Drake May, though. And that's a hell of a consolation prize.
Two things of note here. I wonder if we would change any of the games for the other team's favor if the Raiders deal Josh Jacobs before the season begins. 2, I know you said that the Raiders typically stand by their guys, but this upcoming year should be a really, really good year to make a coaching change and grab a young up-and-coming assistant. And I think that's the way Vegas should go. If you're going to get a brand new quarterback, whether it be Drake May or Quinn Ewers, or if someone takes if they take a Joe Milton, I mean Joe Milton is basically cut from the same cloth as Anthony Richardson is. If they view him on the same level as AR, they could take a guy like Joe Milton. There's Michael Penix. There's a lot of quarterbacks in this class, and if they take one at 4 or 5 or 6, I would want to surround him and put him in a situation with an offensive-minded head coach who is young and innovative.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Young. I would want somebody, and I know this could turn off really rough because first time head coaches don't always have a great track record for success.
No.
But we've seen in recent years, first time head coaches also have had a lot of success. I mean, and I know they were frauds. However, Kevin O'Connell got Minnesota to 12 wins or 13 wins year one. I know the narrative
head
around
coach and a new quarterback. And this is my counterpoint to that, is that Josh McDaniels had Derek Carr. They didn't click, and I don't think that was I don't think he really wanted Derek Carr. I think he was optimistic and was like, yeah, we'll go with Derek Carr. Didn't gel, and so they didn't. He has Jimmy Garoppolo. Say what you want about Jimmy. Some Raiders fans think he's a fucking proven winner. I think they're in for a rough reality.
Rude awakening.
Because the Raiders have never had a defense like the 49ers have. So, I don't know that proven winner thing. We talked about it earlier in the NFC West thing. But, or it was the NFC. I don't know. It was something else. But we talked about, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't really lead that 49ers team. It was more of the 49ers defense doing their job, doing a really good job, and Jimmy Garoppolo not fucking it up. And the Raiders don't have that luxury where the Raiders defense is going to carry you to wins, and Jimmy Garoppolo's not going to fuck it up. Jimmy Garoppolo's going to have to go out and win games. He has to win them. Not fuck it up, but win them. Not lose them, but win them. So, I think Jimmy Garoppolo's contract gives them an out after this year. And I think that was the plan so they could get a quarterback this year so Josh McDaniels can have a guy. And I think if you give him 2 years after that quarterback and shit does not, I think that's when he got. And I know what you're saying. But the problem with the Raiders organization is they're always unstable. The Raiders have to find some stability here. And if they just cut a guy like Josh McDaniels again after 2 years, that's just showing that the Raiders are going to do whatever they're going to do and be that unstable organization.
But, I mean, like it or not, the Raiders are now a big market team in Las Vegas. So
we haven't won.
I think, and that's what I'm saying. I think the standard should be set higher than what it used to be, only because you are now the big market team.
Does anyone believe in the Raiders?
To counterpoint what you were saying before, and then we have to get out of here.
Okay.
I think Vegas, depending on the quarterback that they get, if they somehow land Drake May, let's say they land Drake May, perfect scenario, they cut bait with Jimmy G, Aiden O'Connell starts the last 4 weeks, doesn't really work out, they draft Drake May.
Well, you just slid that in there, didn't you?
If Drake May is your quarterback, they fire Josh McDaniels, they're going to have pick of the litter for offensive head coaches because they're going to want to coach Drake May. They're going to want to get their hands around Drake May and mold him to the perfect quarterback for their system. That's my only counter to it, is that the intrigue would be too good to pass up on the opportunity. That's all.
I don't know, and they could say, well, Josh McDaniels can do that, and that's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not even saying. I'm not going to sit here and be a Josh McDaniels believer, but this is what the signs on the wall are telling me. That's my thinking.
See, the issue is you're seeing that wall right there. That wall. I am looking at this wall. We're looking at different walls here. You are looking at the wall that has Raiders glasses on them. You got your Raiders glasses on. You're trying to be optimistic. I respect it. However, I'm looking at this wall. I just picked
the Raiders to go 4-13. How is this optimistic? This is a cry for help.
Because you're wanting to retain.
This is me crying.
You're wanting to retain a coach that just went 4-13.
Garrett, I just said I don't like Josh McDaniels. I'm telling you though that this is the writing on the wall.
Okay. Listen.
This is the Raiders.
If Vegas goes 4-13, This is not. I'm asking you this personally. If Vegas goes 4-13, would you fire Josh McDaniel?
I would.
Oh,
Yes.
that's all I need to know.
But that's
That's
not
all.
going to happen is what I'm trying to tell you.
I understand that, but I wasn't looking for what the organization will do. I'm looking for what you would do.
Yeah. No,
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know.
And this is making me a Derek Carr apologist, right? And that was my guy.
No, we don't have time to go off on a different tangent.
Dude, give me like 30 seconds.
We don't have time.
30
we
seconds.
don't have
106. 106. Okay, just give me till 106. Okay, but the way he handled the Derek Carr situation after it was not just him, but also the defense and how they treated Derek Carr the entire time he was there. That's what rubbed me the wrong way about Josh McDaniels. That's it. He was saving his ass. Look, I did that in 15 seconds. Look, that was it. Right there. Okay. We got to get out of here. We try to keep this under an hour, but we started talking about the Raiders. You know what it is. This is a cry for desperation. We're halfway done. We got 4 divisions done. We have the AFC West now done. AFC North's done. NFC West is done. NFC East is done. Now we're getting to the AFC East is going to be fun to do. The other ones are going to be rough.
We're doing the NFC South last because that is the worst division in football.
So you just don't want to touch that division.
I don't want to do it. I really don't.
I think we have a good thing going right here. I think these are all reasonable, believable. And I think, of course, you're going to make people mad with some of the predictions. I think Raiders fans are going to be, super mad at this one. And I think they're going to call me a fake fan. And which is crazy to me because I am the most realistic fan there is. But you know what? This is what we got halfway through. I don't know what we're gonna do next. I guess it has to be AFC East next, Garrett.
Yeah, I think we have to.
AFC East, and if we're going AFC, NFC, I gotta go NFC North after that, right? So we could tell them to expect those next, and then we'll keep the AFC South and the NFC South for last. It seems like the South side.
All right. My final thought.
Okay.
You're always asking for my final thought. My final thought. Starting 2024 for the Las Vegas Raiders will be Quinn Ewers with head coach Brian Johnson, first-year head coach.
Who's that?
Quarterback's coach for the Eagles.
Maybe. I don't know. I would love those 3 guys. Those are my guys right there. Caleb Williams, probably not going to happen. Drake May, unlikely. Quinn Ewers?
Who knows?
Anyway, that's it right there. We're done. Get us out of here. Stay tuned for the next 4. Get out of here.